Hello, everybody. These are the video notes for 2.1 slope. And slope is a concept that you're probably already a little familiar with. You may have learned it in 8th grade or 7th grade, but it's a very important concept that we're going to be using throughout Math 1 and beyond. So we are going to take some time just to review it all, and in case there's something that you missed the first time, you can get it this time. We've seen slope in words already in a couple different ways. Slope is the same thing as the common difference in an arithmetic sequence. That amount that you're going up each time, that's the slope. That's the common difference. Slope is also the same thing as the rate of change. And you may have also heard of slope as the rise over run. And this rise over run, that's the same thing as the change in y over the change in x. And this last one is what we're going to be focusing on today, that change in y over change in x. So this change in y and change in x, sometimes I want you to add this symbol. You might see it as delta y over delta x. That delta is a Greek symbol. That triangle, it means change. Sometimes you can tell the slope from a graph. So let's title this slope and graph. And let's draw out a XY coordinate graph. It's best to use graph paper if you have it. If you don't have graph paper, just draw this as neatly as you can. And on this graph, I want you to put one point at 0, 2, 0, 2 down there. And then from there, I want you to go up 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to the right 3 units. 1, 2, 3. Like that. So your point should be at 3, 2. Here. And then using a straight edge, let's connect these 2 points. I'm using a ruler, but you can really use anything that can help you draw a straight line. And then if you have a second color, this is where I want you to use your second color. Let's draw the 4 units that we're going up. So we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4 units this way. And then using another color, if you have it, let's mark in these units that we're moving to the right. So it's 1, 2, 3 to the right. So here, between these 2 points, my slope is equal to the amount that I changed going up and down. So that was 4 units over the amount that I changed going from left to right. That was 1, 2, 3 units to the right. So my slope is 4 over 3. And I always want to look from left to right. So if I'm going from left to right, that's how I can tell that I'm going up and not down. Let's draw on another graph. And let's start this time from -2, +1. So here. And then I want you to go down 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be right here. So I have the points -2, 1, and 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, -5. That's that one down there. And then same thing, let's connect these 2 points using a straight edge. And then using our other colors, let's mark how many units we're going up or down and how many units we're going left or right. So looking from left to right, I can see that this line is going downhill. So I know that I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units down. And since I'm going down, I'm going to mark the change in y as -6. Okay, how many units to the right? 1, 2, 3 units to the right. So my slope for this line is going to be, the change in y was -6 over the change in x was 3 to the right, so 3. Slope is -6 over 3. This I can simplify, this fraction. 6 over 3 is 6 divided by 3, which is 2. It stays negative, so my slope is -2 for this line. Okay, so that's how you can tell the slope from a graph by counting the units up and down and then left and right. You can also tell the slope from a table. I'm going to say slope and a table. And let's do vertical tables for this one. X and Y. And let's say X is starting at 1, 2, 3. My Y values are 5, 8, 11. Okay, I'm going to use my red color for change in Y. So that's how much is it changing between each of these Y values. In this case, it's going up 3. How much is it changing between these X values? It's going up 1. So my slope between each of these 3 points, well, it's change in Y over change in X. The change in Y was 3. The change in X was 1. So 3 over 1, that I can simplify to just 3. Let's do another example, and this time I'm going to do a horizontal table. So X and Y. This time the X values are, it's going to go from 2 to 4 to 6. Y values will be, let's do 15, 10, 5, like that. Same idea. What's the change in Y? So I'm checking between each of these Y values. Between each of these Y values, it's going down 5. So the change in Y is -5. Change in X from 2 to 4, it's going up 2. From 4 to 6, it's going up 2. So my slope is going to be equal to the change in y, which was -5, over the change in x, which was +2. So my slope is -5/2. And whenever you're writing slope and you have a fraction and it can't be simplified to a whole number, it's best to leave the slope as an improper fraction, just like this, because that makes it easier to graph. Okay. One more set of examples. So for this, I want you to turn to the next page, or to the back. And you can also tell the slope from 2 points. That's all you have. So slope from 2 points. In this first example, let's say I have a line and it goes through the points 2, 8, and 5, 14. When you're trying to find the slope from 2 points, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. One is to use a formula. The slope is going to be equal to the difference between the two y values. So this first y value, I can think of that as y1. The second y value, 14, I can think of that as y2. This first x value, which is 2, I can think of that as x1. This 5, I can think of this as x2. And so my slope is going to be the difference between these two y values, the change in y. So I'm going to write that as y2 minus y1 over the difference between the two x values, x2 minus x1. What is this equal to? So y2, that's the second y value, that's 14, minus the first y value, that was 8. x2 is the second x value, that's 5. x1 is 2, just like that. 14 minus 8 is 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 over 3, that can be simplified. My slope is 2. And I want to clarify that in this formula, I've set it up as y2 minus y1. But I also want you to know that you can also do y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, and you'll get the same answer. Let me just show you. y1 is 8, minus y2 is 14, x1 is 2, x2 is 5. So 8 minus 14 is -6, 2 minus 5 is -3. -6 divided by -3, a negative divided by a negative is positive, so that's also +2. Got the same answer. So either one of these works, as long as you're consistent between the numerator and the denominator. All right, so that is how you find the slope from 2 points.